Today on our 2016 Chevrolet Traverse, we're going to be taking a look at and installing the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector, part number C56181. Here's what this wiring is going to look like once it's installed on the vehicle. As you can see, we've got our 4-pole power here at the hitch. And this wiring harness is going to do a great job of just that, giving you that 4-pole power here so that you can power your trailer or cargo carrier. This kit uses T connectors behind the tail lights in order to get the signal for the power, but it does run a 12-volt power wire directly to the positive side of the battery so that the module box can take its power from there, as opposed to using the power coming off of the signals behind the tail lights. Because of this module box drawing its power from the battery, that's going to help to protect your vehicle's electrical system, because it's not overdrawing from your vehicle, but rather directly from the battery. So if you want something that's going to do a great job of providing the power that you need, but also not run the risk of damaging the wiring on your vehicle, this kit's going to be a great one to do just that. Now, let's show you how to install it. First thing we'll need to do is remove our tail light assemblies. We'll have to take the cover off on each of these, and you can use a flathead screwdriver. Get underneath and pull those out and turn them down so that you've got access to the screw. You'll need a 7mm socket. With both screws out, you can grab onto the tail light and begin pulling straight towards the rear of the vehicle, and it'll release from the alignment tabs. And here we've got our connector. We'll need to push down the tab. It's on the back side of that. If you have a little bit of trouble, you can take your screwdriver, just pry off that small metal clip. And the tab on this has this little red locking mechanism that you'll need to pull out. That way it'll allow you to depress that tab and release it. And we'll go to the other side and do that same thing. Now I'll use a fish wire, which I'm going to use a piece of old airline tubing and feed it down along the inside of the fascia, so then it comes out the bottom. I've used some electrical tape to tape my wiring harness that has the yellow, red, and brown in the T connector. And I taped it to the end of that airline tubing, so then I'll be able to carefully pull this up to that opening for the tail light. Then I'll take my connector and make the connection with the factory wiring harness on the vehicle. Now's a good opportunity for us to use a self-tapping screw that comes with the kit to secure our ring terminal on the white wire to the body as our ground. Now you want to be sure wherever you choose to mount yours that there's nothing behind there that may get damaged, like wiring. Now we can make the connection with the other side of our T connector at the back of the tail light and reinstall our tail light. When you put all these connections together, you want to be sure to push those red tabs down, because the new wiring harness does come with those factory style tabs. Next, I routed the green wire with the T connector across from the box. I used fish wire to run it through the bumper rail, came out the other side of the bumper rail, and then used the same fish wire to go up towards that passenger side tail light. Now, I'll begin making my connections with the green T connector. Then we'll reinstall our tail light. Now we'll connect our length of black wire to the black wire that comes off our module box. Strip the end back. We'll use yellow butt connector that comes with the kit and crimp that down. Then we'll crimp that to the other end of the black wire. Now's a good time for us to mount our module box. I'm going to take a little bit of rubbing alcohol on a cloth and wipe down the location that I'm going to use just up on the body panel here. And on one side, we need to take our double-sided sticky tape and put it on to the module box. And then we'll peel the other side off and then stick it into the location that we cleaned. Then I'll take some electrical tape and wrap up my butt connector to help prevent moisture getting in there and corroding the connection. So now we can take our black power wire and route it towards the battery. Now how I routed that black power wire is I brought it through up here so that I can make sure to keep it away from anything moving or anything hot like the exhaust. Routed it up over, tying it along the inside of the frame rail there, going up towards that rear cross member. Went over that cross member and secured it with a zip tie, kept coming down, and then ran it down along the inside of the heat shield here on the fuel tank, and then ran it across over here, over this heat shield, and then just up there is the grommet for the battery vent, because this is the battery box inside the vehicle. So I ran it through that grommet up there to the battery. You will want to be sure to go back and zip tie any excess wire that you have, so that way it doesn't possibly rub against something and rub through to damage the wire. And here's where that wire comes through up to the battery. Now I'll strip the end of my power wire back so that I'll be able to connect my inline fuse holder. I'll install one end of the other yellow butt connector on my black power wire. Then I'll install one end of my inline fuse holder. On the other end of my inline fuse holder, I'll put this yellow ring terminal on. I'll take my ring terminal and bring it over towards my positive battery terminal. Place it over that stud there. Then you'll need to find a nut and then tighten it down. Finally, I'll take my 10 amp fuse and install it into the fuse holder. Then I'll put the dust cap on. I'll reinstall our battery cover. And this screw is going to use a T20 Torx bit. And we'll replace our cover over the front of the seat tracks. It'll just clip down into place there. And then we'll fold our floor mats back over. I routed the 4-pole wiring from the edge of the bumper rail and zip tied the extra up out of the way and came across where it comes down, then over to the receiver and secured it to the safety chain connection point using the dust cap. Now with everything installed and hooked up, let's go ahead and test it to make sure everything's working. And we're going to use part number I26 in order to do that. So first, let's check our tail lights. Left turn signal, right turn signal, and brake lights. With everything working properly, we're ready to plug our trailer in and hit the road. That's going to complete our look at and installation of the Curt T connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector, part number C56181 on our 2016 Chevrolet Traverse.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com.